Welcome to A Call to Action, a series presented by Great Eastern Radio and Brattleboro Community Television. We're covering many different topics from wearing a mask properly to the CARES Act and what that contains and what will roll out in it next. Today, we're talking with Brattleboro Town Manager Peter Elwell. And with a new policy in place regarding masks, we're here to talk about what that looks like. I'm Peter Fish Case. Peter, welcome to A Call to Action.
Thank you, Peter.
I feel like I don't know if I'm going to take my mask off now as we're both isolated within
Sure.
within our, and this way I can see everything so that we're not fogging up. But both Peter and I had agreed to start this segment out wearing masks, to show the proper way to wear a mask, the many different colors that are available in masks, and what happened last night at the select board meeting. So if you'd like to start, so beginning today, which is May 20th, there is a new policy in place. Explain that.
Sure. So the select board is requiring that anyone who goes into a place of business, and that's broadly defined, I'll talk about that in a minute, be wearing a mask for all of our mutual protection of each other. The people do not have to be wearing a mask when they're outdoors, although it's a good idea to have the mask with you because especially as you get into areas where there might be, more people gathering or, walking through downtown where you might bump into somebody. Your intent may not be to be close up to other people, but you still might end up that way and you ought to be ready to put a mask on. But the requirement is for indoors because the public health statistics and the information that's coming from the CDC and others is very clear that we're all at much greater risk of picking up the droplets and the germs from each other in the indoor settings. And so in addition to practicing the social distancing and limiting the numbers of people who gather, the select board has decided to exercise the right that the governor invited local governments to exercise in his announcement last Friday. And last night, Tuesday night here in Brattleboro, the select board did adopt a policy that says if you are in a place of where business is being conducted, whether that's commercial business, nonprofit, or governmental, and you're interior and you're either an employee or a visitor, either way, everybody's got to have a mask on.
Okay, so if you can walk inside a space that has public access, you have to do it wearing a mask.
That's correct.
All right. So that clarification is good to know. And of course, if you're just walking down the street, as you said, I always have a mask at the ready, just because you never know who you're going to run into. And of course, I posted something on my social media page about this, and there's a lot of active conversation going. One of the really, a few of the things that have popped up, and I'm literally doing a little bit more research on this, is some people have been showing the sides of a mask box that said this mask will not prevent you from getting the coronavirus. I just want to clarify that what that warning means is that indeed it will not prevent you from getting it. It will prevent you from spreading it, however, if you're asymptomatic.
Exactly.
So I want that out there, and I don't expect people to take my word for it. This is just stuff that I have learned from the experts, from this silly little thing called science, and some other really good things. But I'm going to actually try to get a mask maker on a call to action to discuss that very warning that's on the side of their boxes that people have taken and twisted into their own narrative. So the other example that somebody else had put on there was basically saying, look at it this way. If you can put a mask on and blow out a match through your mask, you won't be able to. That means that flow is stopping. So if we could just think about it like that, I think that maybe that's an easier example to kind of get everybody's heads around.
Sure.
So in the few hours that you've been in the office and rolling this thing out, and we know all town offices require masks.
Right.
How have you gotten much feedback?
I haven't really had a lot of feedback this morning. I know, as you pointed out, there is a lot of chatter out on social media. I think as the day goes along and the week goes along, we'll probably get a better sense of how the community is reacting to this. And the select board is going to give it some additional consideration next Tuesday night. We had a long meeting last night and we didn't get all the way through the agenda. We've got some important utilities related business that we still need to do that would have been conducted last night if not for the long, thorough discussion regarding masks and a few other pieces of business. So that's going to happen next Tuesday night on the 26th at 6:15 in the evening. The board will meet again. And in addition to addressing 3 important water and sewer utility matters, there will be additional discussion of the mask resolution that was adopted last night and about how it's going out in the community so that the board can, if necessary, tweak it
Right.
or just reaffirm it if things are going well.
Right. And this will also be an ample time, and we put this together very quickly, I know at the last moment, to get that word out in addition. So if you feel one way or the other, what's the best way to convey that to you, maybe prior to, I mean, most people, I know that that meeting did go very long. That one segment around the masks probably took about an hour to kind of plow through, and because there's just a lot, you know. So what's the best way for people to express their concerns?
I'd love to hear from people on email. That's something that they can do at their convenience, and I can receive it and read it. And if it needs to, some follow up, I'm able then to do that. But that's a good way to convey a quick opinion on something to me is pelwell@brattleboro.org.
All right.
Love to hear from folks about it. I will pass on comments I received from the community about this to the select board so that they also understand in advance the reaction that we're hearing. I'm sure they're going to be hearing some of it directly themselves, both on social media and in person out in the community. We do understand that this is an inconvenience, but for the reason that you cited about the message on the box, it's really critically important that we all recognize that the wearing of the mask is something we do for each other. It's not something we do out of fear to protect ourselves from what's going on around us. Instead, it's something we do as a commitment to the community and being part of the community, that we don't want to spread our germs out to others. And that's what that's the purpose the mask serves. And that's why the board has adopted this as being an important practice for all of us to do for each other here in Brattleboro.
Right. And with Vermont just being, there was the headline, I don't remember where I saw it, being the envy of the United States, because we've been so diligent and have really done a really good job with this. We want to continue. And if we do this, then we will continue down this path and we'll get back to normal as quickly as we can. So
that's what we're hoping for.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
we all, and I know that that you and the town attorney discussed, and it was a point that I'm making, that if are you okay with no shirt, no shoes, no service? Then if you are, then this is just going to be an added temporary, because this eventually will go away, but you will, so that's just another way to look at it. So
absolutely. And it's exactly in that same line. I mean, the reason for the no shirt, no shoes, no service is public health, right? To protect each other from, that kind of germ spreading. And so this is a very different, more lethal kind of germ spreading. And yes, it is temporary, but it is also very important.
Right. So Peter, I appreciate you jumping on a call to action with me. It was just a quick hit, but I know it's just information that we're just trying to get out there as quickly as possible, and this was the easiest way to do it. So I thank you for jumping on the call with me today.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.